Hey, what's up guys? In today's video, we're going to explore the reactions of gang leaders who got sentenced to life in prison for their heinous crimes. How did they cope with the reality of spending the rest of their days behind bars? What emotions did they show in court? Did they express any remorse or regret for their actions? Let's find out. George Gowell. Imagine being the leader of a ruthless gang responsible for countless crimes and murders. Imagine being so powerful and feared that you can order hits from behind bars, using secret codes and hidden phones. Imagine being so cold and heartless that you laugh and mock the families of your victims as you face the consequences of your actions. That's the story of George Gowell Thomas, also known as Geezy or G. He was the boss of the G-Shine set of the Bloods gang, one of the largest and most violent gangs in the U.S. He operated in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, where he terrorized the streets with his drug dealing, robbery, assault, and murder. Born in 1977, he grew up in a poor and violent neighborhood in Newark, New Jersey. He joined the Bloods gang at a young age and rose to become the leader of the G-Shine set, which had about 500 members in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. He was arrested several times for various crimes, such as drug trafficking, robbery, assault, and murder. He was also involved in a gang war with the Crips, which resulted in many deaths and injuries. He was also infamous for orchestrating murders from prison, where he was already serving time for previous crimes. He used smuggled cell phones and coded messages to communicate with his gang members and ordered them to kill his rivals. In 2016, he was finally brought to justice for his evil deeds. He was convicted of ordering the killings of two rival gang members, James Collins and Richard Lincoln, who were shot to death in separate incidents in 2007. He was also found guilty of conspiring to murder another rival, Kareem Washington, who survived a shooting in 2008. For these crimes, he was sentenced to life imprisonment, plus 30 years, by a federal judge. But did he show any remorse or regret for his actions? No, he did not. He showed no emotion or sympathy for his victims or their families. He even smirked and laughed at times as the prosecutors presented the evidence against him. He also taunted the victims' families, saying, "I'll be back," and "see you soon," as he was escorted out of the courtroom. He clearly did not care about the lives he took or the pain he caused. Lee Manuel Rios. Next, we have Lee Manuel Rios, a cold-blooded killer who showed no mercy or humanity to his victim. He was a member of the Latin Kings gang, one of the most notorious and violent gangs in the world. The Latin Kings originated in Chicago in the 1940s and have since spread to many states and countries, with an estimated 35,000 members. They are known for their involvement in drug trafficking, robbery, extortion, murder, and other crimes. They are also known for their distinctive symbols, such as a five-pointed crown, a lion, and the colors black and gold. Rios killed Kenneth Lopez, a rival gang member, in 2015, in a brutal and senseless act of violence. Lopez was a member of the Outlaws gang, another notorious gang that has been in conflict with the Latin Kings for decades. Rios shot Lopez multiple times in the chest and head, as Lopez was sitting in his car outside a convenience store. He then fled the scene, but was later arrested and identified by witnesses, who saw the whole thing. The motive for the killing was unclear, but it was likely related to the ongoing gang war. In 2018, he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole by a jury of his peers. He also received additional sentences for illegal possession of a firearm and ammunition, and for being an armed career criminal. He faced a total of 15 to 20 years on top of his life sentence. He did not show any remorse or regret for his crime. He showed no emotion or sympathy for his victim or his family. He even smiled and winked at the cameras as he was led into the courtroom. He also showed defiance and disrespect to the judge, the jury, and the law. He refused to stand up when the verdict was read, and he cursed and spat at the officers who tried to restrain him. He also shouted obscenities and threats at the victim's mother, who broke down in tears. Lopez Carpio brothers. Moving on, we have the Lopez Carpio brothers, Anthony and Michael, who were convicted of a savage and senseless murder in New York. They were members of the Trinitarios gang, one of the most dangerous and violent gangs in the city. The Trinitarios originated in the Dominican Republic and have since spread to many states and countries, with an estimated 10,000 members. They are known for their involvement in drug trafficking, robbery, extortion, murder, and other crimes. They are also known for their distinctive symbols, such as a three-pointed crown, a machete, and the colors green, red, and blue. The brothers brutally attacked Kevin Oriana, a 17-year-old student, in 2016 as he was walking home from school. They stabbed him multiple times in the chest and abdomen as part of a gang challenge in front of a crowd of witnesses. The challenge was to kill someone from a rival gang, or someone who disrespected the Trinitarios, in order to earn respect and status within the gang. The brothers then fled the scene but were later captured and identified by the police, who found the murder weapon and the brothers' blood-stained clothes. In 2019, they were sentenced to 25 years to life in prison by a state judge. They also received additional sentences for gang assault and criminal possession of a weapon. They faced a minimum of 28 years and a maximum of life in prison. But did they show any remorse or regret for their crime? No, they did not. They showed no emotion or sympathy for their victim or his family. They even smiled and laughed at times as the prosecutors presented the evidence against them. They did not apologize or express any regret for their actions. Abel Gallegos. Next up, we have Abel Gallegos, a ruthless and heartless killer who showed no mercy or humanity for his victim. He was a member of the Mexican Mafia gang, one of the most powerful and violent gangs in the country. The Mexican Mafia, also known as La M, originated in the California prison system in the 1950s and has since expanded to many states and countries, with an estimated 30,000 members. They are known for their involvement in drug trafficking, extortion, murder, and other crimes. They are also known for their distinctive symbols such as a black hand, a flaming M, and the number 13. Gallegos was involved in the kidnapping and murder of Simone Duran, a 19-year-old woman, in Arizona. He and his accomplices abducted Duran from her home, beat her, shot her, and dumped her body in the desert. They then poured gasoline on her corpse and set it on fire to destroy any evidence. This was one of the most brutal and barbaric crimes ever committed in the state. The motive for the killing was unclear, but it was likely related to the gang's rivalry with other gangs or Duran's involvement with a gang member. In 2018, he was sentenced to life imprisonment, plus 21 years, by a federal judge. He also received additional sentences for various charges such as kidnapping, conspiracy, and use of a firearm. He faced a total of 51 years on top of his life sentence. He did not show any remorse or regret for his crime, which is just crazy to think about. How can someone be so calm after committing the evilest of crimes? He even smirked and nodded at times as the prosecutors presented the evidence against him, showing total disregard for the victim and the pain of the victim's family. He did not apologize or express any regret for his actions. Lisandro Posada Vasquez. Finally, we have Lisandro Posada Vasquez, a cruel and merciless killer. He was an MS-13 gang member, one of the most notorious and violent gangs in the world. The MS-13, also known as Mara Salvatrucha, originated in Los Angeles in the 1980s and has since spread to many states and countries, with an estimated 70,000 members. They are also known for their involvement in drug trafficking, extortion, murder, and other crimes. They also have their distinctive symbols, such as a devil's horn and a teardrop. He was charged with the murder of Raymond Wood, a 17-year-old boy, in Virginia. He was one of the 6 gang members who participated in the gruesome murder in 2017. They lured Wood to a remote location, stabbed him multiple times, and cut off his hands and neck. They then left his body on the side of the road, where it was discovered by a passerby. This was definitely, again, one of the most horrific and barbaric crimes ever committed in the state, highlighting the gruesome nature of some monster-like humans who have no heart or a soft spot. The motive for the killing was unclear, but it was likely related to the gang's rivalry with other gangs or Wood's involvement with a gang member. In 2019, he was sentenced to life imprisonment by a federal judge. He also received additional sentences for various charges such as racketeering, conspiracy, and use of a firearm. He faced a total of 10 years on top of his life sentence. The other gang members received varying sentences, ranging from 30 years to life in prison. He also showed no emotion or sympathy for his victim or his family. He even smiled and laughed at times as the prosecutors presented the evidence against him. He did not apologize or express any regret for his actions. At least he should have apologized to the victim's family, but he decided not to. And that's it for today's video, guys. You know, it is really hard to look at these victims' poor families who lost a precious part of their lives to these brutal gangsters. We hope they will soon recover from the trauma and pain. Do you think the gang leaders will ever change or repent their evil actions? Keep those questions coming.